us off, let's all realign on our definition of altmetric data and altmetrics that we're going to be talking about today. So altmetrics are that very special kind of new class of data that you're likely aware with, but maybe some of you joining us today are new to this area. So what altmetrics are data that really capture that engagement with research that happens across the web. As people share research on social media, in the news, in public policy documents, all of this engagement with research online leaves digital traces on the web. And we collect that data at Altmetric in order to provide two types of data. So the first is metrics about research engagement. How often is research being shared? How many tweets have been shared? How does that correlate with citations? It's all very number driven. The second type of data that we collect, this is qualitative data. So this is data that helps us understand who's talking about research, where they're talking about it, what they're saying, and other sorts of information that really contextualizes that engagement that's happening. So as I mentioned, at Altmetric, this is our bread and butter, right? Is collecting Altmetrics data. We are an Altmetrics company. We were born in order to trace those conversations happening around research online. Our three major products that you're likely aware of. One is the Altmetric Explorer and API. So the Altmetric Explorer is our core database where we capture 165 million conversations around 17 million research outputs and make them searchable in a web-based database. And we also have an API, so you can programmatically access that data as well. We also have a details page API. A details page API exposes those conversations that are happening around data in a slightly different way from the Altmetric Explorer API. But what these two APIs and products have in common is they are really great ways to get those conversations happening around research and get that data out of Explorer in order to analyze the data. So we are working with huge amounts of data at Altmetric, like I mentioned, over 164, I think 165 now, million conversations around research across a variety of different platforms, and tracking conversations and engagement with research of all flavors. So journal articles, monographs, data sets, and so on. At Altmetric, we track 17 distinct types of platforms. We index thousands of sites within those genres of platforms. So for example, a few hundred policy document providers, thousands of news sites and blogs. We curate some of our sources like policy, news, blogs, public Facebook pages, but we also index the entirety of other sites, like for example, Twitter and Wikipedia, certain languages within the Wikipedia domain. So there's a lot of data, as I mentioned. And that data is very specific to tracking engagement with discrete research outputs.